Fear is a peculiar thing. Is it not strange that across myriad cultures and civilizations, histories, and religions, when human beings sought a creature to encapsulate their fear, a magnum opus to represent their dread, they thought of sharp talons, heavy wings, teeth like swords, bodies like boulders, fire, magma, poison, lightning, fury, wrath. What I speak of is the dragon, humanity's fear, made flesh. And so I ask you all to embark with me on another journey into fear, as I introduce you to one of the most blood-chilling dragons the human mind has ever conceived. Imagine for a moment cold, dreadful cold. You hold your wife's hand as you both walk toward the reaping ceremony. She shivers and you pull her close. "It's all right, dear," you say. You rub her belly. 10 weeks. And you couldn't be more excited. Around you, the people of your village flock. Adults, the elderly, children, wolves, and frost hounds, all walk calmly through the cutting storm, toward the mountain in the distance, where it waits. As you and your wife trudge through the deep snow on your way up the mountain, she turns to you. "But what would they do if we got picked?" "Don't worry," you tell her. "The reaping is a formality at best. They've already picked whatever criminal or drunk is going to be reaped, and we are simply here for respect." She smiles and turns away, but you know deep down she's still worried. You all are. You look around, gazing at men, women, and children who all know that they're going to be fine, just like last month, just like the month before. They'll simply go up the mountain and come back down. But looking at their faces paints a different picture. They're scared, and they're looking at you. Why are they looking at you? "I need to tell you something." You turn to your wife, worry all over her face. The crowd stops. It seems you've reached the mountain. No time for talking. Now comes the reaping. The crowd shuffles uncomfortably as you all gather around at the base of the mountain. Across from you is a frozen lake, and in front of the crowd stands the town elder. He speaks, and the world listens. As you all know, the reaping marks a special moment in the history of our town. We are people of winter, and this cold runs through our blood. When our ancestors came to these lands, they found dozens of small villages all around the area, and, as is our nature, they reaped. They killed all, men, women, the old, the young, and so we fought and conquered them all. We thought ourselves lords of winter. However, they did not know that in the land of fallen snow and blistering cold, there lived a king. All around you, the men and women of the village shake with anticipation. They know what comes next. And because our ancestors had stolen its sustenance, we had to provide 14 of our own every month to cross the lake in exchange for the mercy of our good king. You turn to your wife. She's shaking, and not with a regular fear. You've never seen her this way. Beside her, your family wolf starts to howl, causing the other wolves to join the choir. Long live the King of Winter. A young villager walks up to the elder and hands him a scroll. The elder reads, "The reaped shall ascend the mountain at once. Benedict, Amelia, Clementine." He reads off names, and the crowd parts as they come forward and begin to march away from the villagers and across the frozen lake. You watch as they walk in single file, heads bowed. Criminals, beggars, drunks. You hear tears in the crowd, no doubt their loved ones and family. A shame, you think, but you can't do anything but watch. It's not your place to disrupt the system. Moash, Yara, Percy, 9 names, 5 to go. Hal, it's alright. Atari, you'll be back home soon. Robin, back with your wife. Enoch, back with Freya. Utter shock. Your heart sinks. As your mind physically cannot comprehend what it was that you just heard, your wife drops your hand and starts to walk to the front. You whisper, "Freya? Freya? What are you doing?" You shout, "Freya, what's going on? Stop!" You grab her and turn to look at her. Tears mark her face. "Elder, you have the wrong person. She's been nothing but kind and she works hard every day. She works for you." The elder looks at you, and for a moment, "As you know, child, the reaping is random, and always has been." "Random?" You almost laugh. "That's nonsense and you know it. Everyone here knows it. Everyone." You look around, and they look away. Neighbors, friends, your baker, your butcher, your medic, childhood friend, teenage lover, all turn away as if they'd never seen you a day in their life. It's not their place to disrupt the system. "She's pregnant!" You scream. "She's pregnant!" Your words fall on deaf ears. You stand in shock. A rage builds inside your belly. "No, no, that beast will not have her." At the front, the town elder nods once. "This is my wife. She's done nothing wrong, and that thing will not claim her. I have worked. I have bled for this town. We have a family, a home, a child to provide for. And by all the gods above, that creature will not..." You wake up to the sound of rats and the smell of death. You blink blearily, and your eyes meet a dark cell. The town dungeon, and the hope that this was all a dream dies. A tear falls from your cheek. "Freya," you whisper. "She was your anchor in the storm, your oasis in the desert, and now she is a lamb for the slaughter." You seethe with anger like no other. How dare they take her away from you? You always did the right thing. You never misstepped in the village, never said no. What did she want to tell you? So many questions, and now you'll never get the answers. Because she's... You'd recognize that howl anywhere. It's your family's wolf, no doubt saddened to be separated from you. It was Freya who tamed that wolf. You remember the day you found the wolf near a cave, but you were scared. You ran to find Freya and had her tame him for you. She was always a braver one. Well, there's no one to run and find now. This is a wolf you'll have to tame yourself. Will you run away again? No. You twist at the bindings that hold your arms. They're made to hold down bone, but bones are easy enough to break. Now, time to go meet this king of winter. Before that, you remember the moment when the town elder smiled. Your eyes harden. There is work to be done. Being a prison guard isn't always fun, but it has its perks. 10 years without the chance of reaping. You don't have to wake up too early, and it's a fairly easy job. You walk down the long prison walkway with your fellow guardsmen on your way to feed the most recent inmate. Have you heard about this man? You turn to your fellow guardsman, who smiles at you. Isn't this the man that went berserk at the reaping? You ask. He nods. It's wild. He just went insane, with a crazy look in his eye. They say his name is Niall, and he's a strange one. You know how most of our game hunters have to hunt in groups. Yes, you nod. Niall hunts alone, and he's done it since he was 14. What, you ask? And they reaped his wife. Why would we reap the wife of someone so important? You ask him, and he looks at you. The reapings are random, he says. I don't know what you're talking about. Right, you nod. You and your fellow guard reach the prisoner's cell and look up to see it's empty. You stop in place. What? Is this the right cell? He nods and opens the door. I guess they must... You look up to see a wraith of a man looking down at you like a predator at prey. 1. Where is the Grand Elder? And 2. Did you know? You turn to see your fellow guardsman. His face is caved in, as if a boulder had been dropped on top of his eyes. Speaking of eyes, one of his eyes is missing. Your heartbeat quickens as you regard the wraith. The Grand Elder is in his personal lodge, I believe. I was supposed to deliver him his dinner tonight. The wraith nods. Ah, so he wasn't lying. Good. Your blood drops. And I swear I didn't know anything about what happened to you. The wraith moves, and you prepare yourself to die. When you look up, he's gone, and you're naked. Being the town elder has its perks. You stride through the town, your kingdom. As you walk down the walkways, everyone you see bows deeply for you, as they should. After all, here, you hold the power of life and death. What else could that be but godhood? You stride past men, children, and women, the beautiful women, who bow down at your feet like the deity you are. You find one that catches your eye, and you wink at her. You'll invite her to work for you sometime. After all, you have a new slot available, now that that insufferable wench has gone. You spit her taste out of your mouth as you make your way toward your lodge. Your lodge is by far the largest building in the village, fit for a man like you. You head for the door. Sir, you turn and spot one of the prison guards in your employ. He bows his head when he approaches. Sir, there's news from the prison. Niall has escaped. You freeze. That troublesome hunter. Can no one do anything right here? You turn away. Walk with me, you say, and give me all the details. You greet the guards on patrol in your house, and you and the prison guard walk side by side. The prison guard bows his head as he walks, out of respect. Tell me about the escape, you ask. How did it happen? Sir, I would, but I fear these words are best kept away from prying ears. The prison guard nods at your other guards. Very well, you say. Follow me. You and the prison guard descend to the basement of your small villa. The guard bows his head as you take a seat in the lavish room, decorated with the finest furniture and silks in the village. Ah, you remember. I forgot about my dinner. Give me one moment. I have it right here, sir. You look up in confusion, but indeed, right in front of you, the prison guard extends a homemade pie, fresh from the oven. He places it on your desk. These prison guards are good for something after all, you think. The prison guard bows his head. At least he's respectful enough to not look into your eye. You think, I aim to serve, he says. You look down, ready to eat. Wait, where are the mushrooms? I have never eaten a pie without mushrooms, you say. They are right there, my lord. You look back, staring at the food. Right there, my lord. Then you see it, a human eye, right there inside the pie. Is it not to your liking? The prison guard asks. Look back at him and stand face to face with the sharp end of a knife. The elder is even uglier up close. You throw away the prison guard hat and you regard the elder, quivering in fear. Lie to me and die. Just nod yes and shake no. 1. Today, I followed you, and I saw the way you looked at the women in this town. Did you ever touch my wife? He nods. Your hand shakes in fury. Are the reapings random? He shakes his head. I give you permission to speak. How do you decide the reaped? He takes a breath. The town had a meeting and voted for her. Tell me everything you know about the King of Winter. I just want to say, your knife draws blood on his neck. Another unrelated word. The elder clears his throat. The King of Winter is a beast unimaginable. Only one of our ancestors was ever able to land a single blow. Legend says it can see the heat coming off human bodies, find them even in the most dreadful blizzard. Even more, they say it could ride winter on its wings, as if the storm answered to the king, and the king alone. A blizzard starts to form outside. You nod. This will be a very large wolf to tame indeed. Thank you, you say to the elder. You can't possibly be thinking. You leap out of a nearby window. The journey to the mountain is hard, harder still because of the blizzard, but it doesn't matter to you. If you hurry, you can catch them. You sprint on, eyes hard as steel. You reach the frozen lake, and you remember their staring faces, looking at you, smiling and pretending everything was okay, and all the while, they had banished your wife to the slaughter. You reach the center of the frozen lake. No, you'll never let them take her. Never. You punch the ice in, you punch again. A million Even harder. Years. The ice breaks, and you take a deep breath. You know what you must do. They say that body heat is essential to any living creature. You decide to test that theory. You dive into the frozen lake. It can see me is your first thought. The second thought is for your husband. Bones litter the floor. As you all march deeper into the cave, it's pitch black, dark as death. I'm not doing this. One of the other victims turns and heads for the cave entrance, and he is frozen alive. You never saw the beast, never even heard a single breath, but above you are two piercing blue eyes that look down on you with malice. The king of winter in the flesh. You lower your head, and you hear its mouth open. The first of the reaped victims begins to walk toward it, resigning to its fate. No, you think, if I am to die, I'll die standing. You push past the others and stand in front of the impenetrable blackness. You take a step forward, and a hand rests on your shoulder. You flinch, almost frozen by the touch, and you turn to see a tall man covered in snow and dragging a straight sword behind him. His skin looks too pale for life. Is this a dream, you ask? Be ready to run, your husband says. You nod. Are you alive, you ask. She asks if you're alive. You touch your heart, frozen solid in every way, you respond. You walk up toward the darkness and light a torch. White, cold death. That is all that can be used to describe the pale, white dragon you see bearing its fangs at you. It's as big as the cave itself. It doesn't react to you at all, but it cranes its neck at the torch in your hand. Curious. Warmth. Run, you call out, and the reaped begin to run. A rumbling takes the earth. You dash for the exit and leap through it with your wife in tow. The blizzard around you is a maelstrom of cold and death, and look up to see a gargantuan, snow-white dragon standing the size of a mountain. It breaks down the cave walls and leaps onto the ground, and you've just taken its food away. You ready your sword, and the world quiets. What is a dragon, if not an animal? And an animal can be hunted. The creature fires off a blast of frost that cuts through a nearby mountain, carving a hole that seems to go on forever. The dragon flaps its wings in fury and descends upon you, and it misses. It turns and bites again and misses again. It lets loose another condensed ray of frost and hits nowhere near you. It can't detect the heat in your body. If there's no heat to detect, you've done it. You've won. The creature bangs on the ice beneath you, and you shoot into the air like a catapult. The ground leaves, and everything you've learned about combat leaves with it. After all, a wolf has no place in the sea, and the dragon has brought you into its domain. As you look down, you see a peculiar sight among its scales, a wound on its head. You think back to the town elder's words. The ancestors really did land one blow. You prepare your sword and tilt your body so you'll land right over the wound. The ground rushes quickly, and your eyes harden. You land and drag your sword along its scales to slow your fall. The dragon roars in pain, and you hear your eardrums rupture. Who needs them? You claw your way across its back toward the wound, and plunge your spear inside it. The dragon howls in fury, and stretches out its colossal wings. You hold on for dear life as it takes to the air. The King of Winter smashes through boulders of ice like mountains as it soars through the caldera, attempting to throw you off of it. Boulders, you don't feel them. Falling ice, it's just pain. Cutting wind, what does it matter? Deafening roars, can't hear. Talon, claws, fury, it speaks in death, but you know that language well. You feel the stillness of your frozen heart. You know it better. You stab and stab and stab. You stab for life. You stab for love, for pride, for revenge. You twist your blade left, and the creature veers left. You twist your blade right, and the dragon rolls right. Wait, your eyes go wide. You stand up, steer the dragon upward, and it shoots up. You almost laugh. Your blade must be plunged into a part of its brain. You press down, and the creature fires a beam of ice. Now you do laugh. King of Winter, they said. Who is king now? Then you think about the town, those bastards that voted your wife to die, and then anger takes you. One you've always knew was there, but only just now let mature and rise. You steer the dragon toward the village. You hold on to your pregnant belly as you reach the village. Ahead of you The other reaped villagers see it first. Finally home, you sigh in relief. You crest the hill, and you are greeted with a hole in the earth where the town should have been, an abyss of ice in a perfect circle. That, my friends, was the Snow Wraith. The Snow Wraith is from the How to Train Your Dragon universe. It is said that the Snow Wraith senses the fall of each snowflake. It hears the glacial movement of every iceberg. It feels the slightest change in even the most frigid of temperatures. And when the chill wind roars, it might be the weather, or it might be the Snow Wraith descending on its next victims. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and also comment on any cool creatures from any work of fiction that you want me to include in one of these. Join the Discord if you want. We have fun there. Stay warm, friends.